Well, it is that time again, everybody. Hope you are doing well. My name is birddogjon, and I am back in action.
In those scenarios, it's good to neuralize the cameras. You guys know that best.
Very straightforward. Plug it in, go to the web UI, link the source, walk away. You know, like super simple. I keep looking over at the chat, and I keep seeing you are full of it. Tasty, spicy meat snacks. Covered in flavor. I mean, you can't go wrong. So what's going on? We've got a handful of folks here in the chat, and I really appreciate that. What's up, mate? Hey, Warren, how are you? Appreciate it. Hey, Robbie, how's it going, man? You're just talking about you. What's going on, Tom? Ahoy. How is it going? What's going on, Go Web? Good to see you again. Thanks for hanging out with us again today. Appreciate that. Feel like I'm in this video more than anyone but John. It's true, NetApp. You are, I'm going to cut this up and put this in the next intro. What's going on, everybody? Happy New Year. Indeed, we are back live for another episode of whatever this is. This is BirdDog, BirdDog support, running a live show here every, twice a week, at least once a week, twice a week. So trying to be available, and the, actually I need to check my audio here because who knows if this is actually working. Hopefully it is. Hey, there it is. Okay. My setup is a little bit disheveled this morning because I got here a little bit late. The office is still closed. Today's the last day that the office is closed, and celebrating the New Year, a New Year's Day observed, but everybody will be in tomorrow. So feel free to start submitting your tickets and all your NDI questions that have been brewing over the course of the holiday. We will be back in the office starting tomorrow, the 3rd. So feel free to join us. And, of course, today, live show. Now, I am actually going away for a couple of days here down to a conference that I'm a part of. And so Thursday, we will not have a show. But I did want to come in today because Thursday we wouldn't have a show and wish you a Happy New Year. So here we are. And we will hang around for at least an hour, see what happens, see if anybody else is out in the ether trying to get their stuff to work. So live show today. We've been closed for several days. I am here for a couple of hours in the office. I just realized there's a scary cup of coffee sitting on my desk, which I hope is empty. Anyway, so yeah, we wanted to be available, and I wanted to show up at least once this week so that you could have your questions answered. If you have submitted tickets, feel free to send those along in the chat. You can do those over on YouTube at birddogjon. Is it birddogjon.tv, right? Oh, this one. So you can do that over on YouTube and submit any questions there. You do need to subscribe for 5 minutes before you can jump in on the chat. What I've noticed is that enabling that has cleaned up a lot of the spam that we would get over on YouTube. And so I think that there's an option on Twitch to do that as well, but I don't pay too much attention to Twitch. However, if you are over on Twitch, if twitch.tv, if you're anti-YouTube, you're over on twitch.tv. I am also found there as birddogjon, so feel free to jump in there and hang out with us should you choose to, just like my friend NetHab, who has been a faithful attender for many years. What is going on, NetHab? Nobody here but us chickens. Good to see you. Welcome to the new year. I'm going to load up the playlist here, I think, because it's been a while. You may have also noticed that the music has changed because it's no longer the holiday stuff, which I wait 10 months to play, and then I start it in November. So it's all good. But I'll start the playlist. Music is now the regular schmegular stuff that we've had for ages. But it's just the intro music and the outro music. It's nothing that I'm married to. But it's free and royalty free in most parts of the country, I found out. So there you go. All right, so playlist is underway. You'll see some new camera, or some different, not new, but different camera angles other than just the P200, which is what you're looking at. So if you're in the market and you're looking at those last P200s that are on the shelves because the 240 is now the successor, if you're looking for those sweet deals, this is the type of shot that you can get. And I am watching it also on YouTube as kind of a secondary. So there you go. There we can monitor things. I am using vmix socials, which apparently just needs you to reboot the computer to get everything to work. Shocker, it's a Windows program. So there you go. Langer125 says, happy 2024, John. Happy 2024, Langer125. Appreciate you hanging out with us over on YouTube. Thanks for attending the first show of the year. Always good stuff. All right, so this forum is really open. Up until the end of the year, I was doing shows on how to use our products, product overviews. Oh, hey, that's the 110. So you can definitely see the difference between the 200 and the 110. This obviously looks a fair bit brighter. I may just need to adjust this one a bit to match the other cameras, because there's a P4K in here as well, which hopefully will show up as one of my sources. Let me just make sure everything's moving. Yes, okay. And then I have a P100, which is directly over my desk, which is this one. So there's that option as well if I want to demonstrate anything. It's a pretty simple rig. I mean, it is 4 cameras. It's 4 cameras, but it all runs on autopilot, through vmix on a playlist, which I know. My full 180 that I did on vmix over the course of the past 4.5 years was, people laugh at me for that, but that's okay. You can laugh. I'm totally fine with swallowing my pride and saying that vmix has its place, just like all of video switchers. If you want to use a Blackmagic Constellation, it has its place, and I work with churches that use that. And if you want to use OBS, unfortunately, it has a place. And so I really strongly recommend you don't use OBS, just because there's much more. There are more powerful video switch options out in the ether. vmix being one of them, Wirecast being one of them. TriCaster, if you have a larger budget. TriCaster is a great option for many, many people. Like, here's the thing about vmix is you do need a good machine to run it, and I'm fortunate to be given a machine that can do it from Stream Dudes. And so Stream Dudes has sent us 2 chassis. I think it's just the Dude Rack is what we have. If you go to their website, you can customize a unit, but you can also just order like one that's out of the box, and that's pretty much what we did. I think we updated the RAM in this one, and we do have the Blackmagic SDI cards in them as well to bring in SDI sources. I don't really like the Decklink Duos, I believe they're called, but ours are the mini SDIs. I don't think we would use those here because we're all NDI. That's what our shop is, and so it's nice to have the option to bring in SDI sources, and we actually do use one of the SDI sources in the other unit that's in the tech bench, but it's not a requirement, that's for sure, for what it is that we do. So good stuff. Langer says, oh, it's Chris from Stream Dudes. Oh, how topical. He's hanging around with us. What's going on, Chris? Happy New Year, man. So we have 2 of those Stream Dude machines that Chris and John sent over to us. So I was fortunate enough to just be handed one, and it works great for what I need it to do. I haven't figured out how to get the GPU to talk to vmix yet, because it seems that there's like some sort of Intel graphics. You have to tell it to do something. I don't know. It's weird. I had Josh Bernstein look at it because he's now one of the BirdDog guys, and he couldn't make heads or tails of it either. Granted, he was a little bit busy with the launch of Play 3.0, so fair enough. That was a pretty big launch for us. So he's allowed to not invest a bunch of time into it, that's for sure. But if you're just joining us, thank you so much for hanging out. The place to be, the root show is over at birddogjon.tv, and so feel free to join us there. If you'd like to join the chat, you just have to subscribe for 5 minutes. I believe that is one of the catalysts for why I have so many subscribers the past couple of months. Oh, hey, check this out. This is cool. This is all the cameras that I have running this show. So I've got 200 in the top left, 100 up top right, bottom left is P4K, bottom right is 110. So I like this. It kind of gives you an idea as to the potential with NDI that you can just merge them all together on a single output. And there we go. I could also talk about my vmix, the way that I've got vmix configured, because I think that that's an important distinction as to how it is that I'm doing this all by myself. Nobody else is in the office. I don't have somebody producing the show. I'm the one that's running vmix socials. And so if you send us a message over on Facebook, or I'm sorry, not Facebook, over on YouTube or on Twitch, it shows up in vmix socials, and I monitor that and select what it is that I show. I try and show everything as long as it's appropriate for my show not to get banned. So we try and involve everybody and get your questions up there. So if you have questions, put them in right there, birddogjon.tv. Subscribe for 5 minutes and ask your NDI question. If you've got a ticket that you submitted over the holiday, you haven't gotten a response, or you shouldn't have gotten a response because the desk is closed, and there's an auto response saying the desk is closed. So if you submitted a question and you want to ask it here, this would be a great place to do that. So I am here until your questions have been answered, and hopefully you find that convenient. One of the things that we've been doing on this show is really trying to create some content that can be revisited later. And you've probably noticed over on birddogjon.tv that there have been several uploads over the past couple of months. And that's basically me taking segments from this show or recording things independently and posting them on that channel. And all that stuff is owned by BirdDog. It's all accessed. The guys over at HQ can get to it and download it and do whatever they need to do. And I'm happy to give it to them as well if they want it. But I've been posting all that stuff there just as like helpful tips. Well, a lot of that content has been showing up. And then I've been doing subscribe-based chat here on YouTube. And so you got to subscribe for 5 minutes, and then you can join the chat. And I've been trying to put a bunch of content up there, mostly so that when I'm not online, you can go on there and find most whatever else you're looking for, including several complete guides to cameras. And so that's what we've been working on recently, is doing, I think I did a 200, I did a 240. Let me look at this. Do I have the course content open? Yeah, I do here. So I have a 200, 240, 110, 120. I've got an OG4 and a BirdDog Play lesson. I've done a keyboards overview, wall plate in and out, central 2.0, and cam control. So we've been trying to go through our product line and get a lot of that. And we've got 30, 40 products, and so it takes a little bit of time. But on Tuesday of next week, so a week today, I want to do a P400 update and then possibly a P4K. That's the next two that I'm planning on doing. So we'll see how much of that we actually get done, but that is the plan. So good stuff. And then we should probably, we should talk about the Stream Dudes machines, which, we got to have those guys on here at some point. And I need to get Josh Bernstein on here a little bit because he's pretty important. So I'm going to try and cram as much of that in as we can. You've probably also noticed that over on birddogjon.tv, there are plenty of resources talking about networking. Now, look, here's the real deal. I know for a fact that NDI, and I know this because I've lived in this realm long enough, NDI has tried really hard. Let's say that. Tried really hard. Oh, I need to adjust this camera now that I sat up. To make the protocol accessible to anyone and everyone, right? And somewhere along the road, the decision was made that we shouldn't overcomplicate the network part. Whoa. We shouldn't overcomplicate the network part of the installation. The problem is that's like saying, I don't want to overcomplicate engine repair. It is complicated. Networking is, there are so many flavors of networking that if you were to just say like, oh, anyone can use it, then your standards have to be extremely low for what it is that you expect from your protocol. And you probably shouldn't be calling it high performance video or going head to head against 2110, which is what NDI was doing. And when they said we're so easy to use, what they meant to say was we're so easy to use compared to other high-performance video standards like 2110. Okay, 2110 is essentially a network protocol that requires a lot of horsepower on the network side of things. So if you're going to install 2110, which, by the way, Blackmagic made a conscious decision to do 2110 over NDI. And I don't know if they're planning on doing 2110 or doing NDI later. I have no idea. I don't have any resources at Blackmagic. I don't know. But what I do know is that their press release just came out and said they're integrating 2110. Well, that's interesting because their majority of their client base, and this is common knowledge, the majority of their client base is not running 2110 standard. If anything, they're going to be running NDI and maybe 2110. But way more likely they're running NDI, and the most likely scenario is they're not running any network protocol at all. More likely, Blackmagic customers are running SDI. They're running hardline back to their Constellation devices or ATEM switchers or something like that. So it's a little strange to me that they chose 2110, mostly because NDI is the easiest to get into. However, what 2110 has over NDI is some very standardized network requirements. From what I can tell, 2110 doesn't necessarily just go and say, oh, just design a good network, which is kind of what NDI, me included, I'm in on this, what we did when we started. And personally, I'll cover up my BirdDog logo here for this. Personally, I think that was a mistake. I think people want to know, what do I need to do to make this installation successful? And they would rather know that information after talking to thousands of customers. They would rather know that information than it just kind of be up to you to figure it out, right? So recent years, NDI and BirdDog included, have basically started saying there are better practices. You know what? Let us tell you what we would prefer to see, how your network is designed. And if you do that, we can then provide some guarantees as to what sort of performance you're going to get out of the network. That has served us very well because, again, I don't think people want to jump in and figure it out for themselves. What they want to do is write a check and say, let me buy the things that will do the thing I've been told it will do. And so it puts a different sort of onus on the BirdDog manufacturing and NDI manufacturers, because now we can design our stuff to a standard, which is nice. And I'm referring to the M4250, 4350 line, which there are, if I'm not mistaken. There's a BirdDog deal going on right now. BirdDog.tv. I go to just the BirdDog.tv website. There are promos going on. One of them with a 4250. Let's dump this over here. Windows, stop being Windows. Okay. Let me throw this up. I'll stop the playlist. And we got to get back to vmix. One moment, please. Stop the playlist. And this one. This one? Oh. All right. Well, it'll just be my voice. Is that my voice? Okay, so yeah, there are some promotions going on here that I think, whoa, there's a lot of these tabs. The mega bundles continue. All right, let's click on this and see what we get here. Bundles galore. The Scarhoy controller is really cool. Wait a minute. I'm very confused. Okay, so right now, I thought. Okay, I'm very confused. Anyways, there are bundles going on. One of them is that Scarhoy bundle where you can get a Scarhoy controller. Is it a Flyjoy or what is it? Scarhoy Pro. It's a Pro PTZ keyboard with 3 P240s. So that's pretty good stuff. It's pretty impressive. Promo bundles. If I click on bundles, I just want to see. Maybe we quietly remove that other one. Learn more about bundles for PTZ ranges. Oh my goodness. All right, well, I'm not dreaming it. There was a 4250 a bundle, but it may have just been till the end of the year. So that's why I'm now eating my words. Anyways, the reason why I'm talking about all this stuff is because there are actual AV line switches that support the NDI protocol. This has come, like Netgear has taken this on themselves, and they've done the work to actually figure out what the requirements are for NDI by working with NDI.TV and working with companies like BirdDog and other manufacturers to make sure that they're doing and delivering the level of performance that we are expecting from our devices. So NDI is kind of moving into this realm of the infrastructure has bought into this, and it's not just a fad. It's not just like a cutesy little thing. It's actually a real deal, and we have switching companies that are, supporting it, which is amazing. So that's why we test all of it. Like I've got 4250s all over the place. I've got 2 in the rack that this camera is sitting on. Don't ask. And I've got another like 5 throughout this department that are all connected together. I need to get 2 or 3 more, but that's for another day, I guess. So what's going on, Daniel? Hey, John, what router switcher combo would you advise for a small auditorium with 3 cameras and a vmix machine? Router switcher combo, you're looking at a layer 3 switch. So I just got done talking about the 4250s. Those are great. If your budget allows, I would do the 1U version of the, I think it's a 10 port. You know what? I won't guess. Let's go over Netgear 4250s. And I need the 10 port. Yeah. Now, you want, if you're doing BirdDog cameras, you want to do the PoE version, right? And you're looking for a PoE plus switch. So AV line switches, it's the 4212P switch, the GSM 4212P as in poly. Those are the switches that I have here in my office. And they are a layer 3. I'll let that load for a minute. They're layer 3, and they look like, okay, now I got to stop this again. They look like this. All right. So they've got 1 gig ports on all 8, and then you have several SFP. You've got actually 2 SFPs and 2 regular non-powered. Okay, so we have a 10-port switch with 2 SFPs. Yes, that's what these ones are here in the office. They run pretty quiet. The budget is $125 on them, so 3 cameras, you're going to be up to 90 watts max for that. So you're within your range here, plus your overhead. So you're safe. If you're not going any bigger, you're safe here with this switch. This is layer 3, which means that it will do your VLAN and DHCP functions as we require. I keep forgetting that there's not a camera on that desktop output. Let me fix that real quick, because that would probably be far more engaging than me. Where are we here? This one. One moment, please. Yoink. And yeah, that's good. Okay, so here we go. Let's try that again. All right, hey, everybody. Okay, so this guy works really well. It's 12 ports technically because they're counting the SFP ports. But on the back, let's take a quick little gander at the back. On the back, we have 8 PoE ports, 2 non-PoE ports, and 2 SFP ports. Now, these are 1 gig SFP, all right, not 10 gig. If you want 10 gig, you got to go one step up. You get a bigger budget, okay, a power budget for this. It's still 12 ports, but you get 240 watts, which means you have room to expand, and you have PoE Plus ports, which means that now we have 10 gig throughput if we're looking to connect an OG card, if we're looking to connect a 4K family, if we're looking to trunk this into a bigger system. Or what I like to do is I like to take one or both of those ports and put a dual SFP Plus network card in my vmix machine. And then I dual connect those 2 ports to my vmix machine, include those in the VLAN for the NDI network. And by the way, if all of this is like gibberish to you, I don't know. But if all this is gibberish to you, I have a complete setup guide on birddogjon.tv for these switches for free. You go ahead and just follow along and you'll be good to go. So if it's like, whoa, this looks like more than I'm willing to get into, you can, if you buy it, I'll help you get it set up. You can do it at your own speed. You can pause the video. You can rewind it. You can slow it down, the playback, whatever you want to do. But I can help you walk through this and pretty much explain how it is that you should do this and what buttons to click. So you're good. If this looks intimidating, don't let it be. I can walk you through it. It's all available on my website, on my YouTube page. So there you go. So that ideally will run everything. It has enough horsepower to do 3 cameras. It will work wonderfully with the vmix machine. This is really the place to go, and it's guaranteeing that your network is not going to be the bottleneck. That's the piece that's people don't understand, is like the cameras don't care what network they're on. They really don't. They will do as you tell them to do, but they will function at their endpoint, and that's all they'll do. But they don't manage the network information. They just put it on the network. They just spit it out, okay? So these cameras are just spitting out information, packets, and they expect your network to handle it. And they're doing 140 megs a second, megabytes per second. Yeah, sorry, I always get that confused. Megabits per second. They're doing 140 megabits a second, and they're throwing that out on the network, and they're like, here, handle it. That's what they're doing, okay? They're just throwing it out there and being like, it's up to you to sort out. And if you're like, no, I put in static IP addresses and I put in, they don't care. They don't care what your configuration is. It's your configuration that has to handle it. So you got to buy something that's going to be able to handle it. And the 4250 is really the only one that I have seen that works and is supported like they claim it is. And so I really recommend that you look at something like that and invest in your network. If you're doing 3 cameras already and paying for a vmix machine, you're already paying quite a premium for that. And so you should be investing in your network in something like that. So if I were to just recommend a layer 3 that can do it, if that's what you're asking me to do, that either the SFP version if money is tight, or the SFP Plus version if you're looking like money's not super expensive. Those model numbers, GSM 4212P, I pretty much have these memorized at this point. GSM 4212P or GSM 4212PX. The X is the 10 gig version. If you're doing 3 cameras in a vmix machine, that is the one that I really like, Daniel. Pandorica, what is going on? Good morning. I think I know what's going on. But anyways, I know you've been a little under the weather, so I hope that you're feeling better this morning. Angus, faithful Angus, back on the show. Hopefully you're doing well. Nice to see you. Happy New Year, bud. How is Edmonton? Are you out in Edmonton right now? Good stuff. Technicom Media says, happy 2024. Right back at you. Happy 2024. Excited to be alive and well. My head cold is gone. I can taste my food again. Hey, shout out to Mrs. BirdDogjon. We made sushi last night, and it was fantastic. So I know she's probably not watching, but there you go. We had sushi last night. We made it for the first time at home, and pretty good if I say so myself. So we, she did all the shopping and she made all the rice, and then I attempted to make sushi rolls, and we will definitely be doing that again because I've become a big fan of sushi over the ages. Not necessarily the raw fish. I just can't. I know it's good. I know people say it's good. I just can't bring myself to eat raw fish. I just can't do it. But shrimp and whatever, I'll do that all day. Let's go. So good times. And it's 11:30 already. So we've talked about networking. Okay, I went into all of this big spiel about networking just to say, if you get a 4250 or a 4350, because they're pretty much the same, other than performance basis and price, if you get a AV line switch from Netgear, 4250, 4350, and look, it is not Netgear of your father's age. Netgear has changed and evolved and has become a main player in the AV world. And you need to put aside, you Cisco guys, you need to put aside your prejudices when it comes to networking switches. Seriously, these Netgear things make your life so much easier. And, oh, by the way, Cisco doesn't support NDI, Netgear does. And, shots fired. And Netgear have a email address for AV networking questions. And so if you're in the field and you're stuck, you email their, what is it? AV designs at netgear.com. Oh, muscle memory. I don't know. Let's see. Do I have this on a lower thirds? I used to. I think I did on in a different life, but I don't anymore. Anyway, if you buy a 4250 and the birddogjon setup videos are insufficient for what you're doing, then you can email them, and guess what? They respond. I've used it numerous times. Matter of fact, I've met the head designer for all of this, and he is hands down great at what he does. He's always open to suggestions. He's not going to do them all, but he is very receptive to suggestions. He has a good inquisitive mind. He's a guy that tries to do it in the field while he's designing it. He is the real deal. And so kudos to Netgear for hiring real people, taking time to be real in their support system, and answering people's questions. I cannot tell you how great it is to be able to recommend an actual AV switch that supports the protocol and it's real. They can show you how to troubleshoot the systems to where you can see where the drop frames are happening or what device is malfunctioning, or they have all of those resources available to them. And so I really recommend that you go and check them out. Oh, yeah, you probably also noticed that I'm wearing headphones today. I can't find my earpiece, and it's also on a really short cable. I took my wireless system home because I'm going away to a conference to which I am working at, by the way, and so I need my in-ear pack. Man, it's anyways, yeah, different life. Yeah, I'll share it with you guys when I have a chat, maybe next week when I'm back from the trip. Anyway, so yeah, the network stuff, I cannot recommend that enough, and I think that it is, if you can afford it, then definitely check that out. Andrew, what's going on? Is BirdDog moving away from the keyboard? I was surprised to see another brand controller in a bundle. No, I don't. They're not. It's not being like not supported. I don't know what the deal is, but I do know that if people don't buy our keyboard, they buy that Pro keyboard, that Scarhoy Pro keyboard, and so I think marketing and sales knows that, and we're friends with Scarhoy. Like, we send them our API controls and we talk to them all the time, and so I think it was hey, like, why don't we scratch each other's backs here on this, and everybody likes your stuff and everybody likes our stuff, and like we could put a bundle together. So I know that the bundle is not the same price point as if you buy our keyboard, but I know that it's still a good deal. So I don't think we're moving away from control. Certainly not. Like, we're going to support our keyboard. Absolutely. 100%. That is not going away. But, we're not the only keyboard on the market, and we know that. And we're not, here's what I like about this bundle deal. This is just, again, me talking about, just my observations, is BirdDog is not in a place where it's only us in the game, right? And instead of pretending like it's only you and making enemies along the way by talking that way, why not make friends? Right? We all know that Scarhoy make a great product. That's not news. There's a reason why they have thousands and thousands and thousands of devices in the field, and people love them. There's a reason for that, and we're well aware of that. So why be competition? Why not be friends? So I think that's what this is all about, is selling another control service or a different control service. Because here's the deal: is people say, people have said to me at support, we want to go with BirdDog, but we can't afford to go with BirdDog and buy the Scarhoy controller, so we're going to get cheaper cameras and buy the Scarhoy. And if that's the case, then let's make this an appealing deal. And look, the 240s are not cheap cameras, right? But I think the bundle is like $9,000 US. I guess I could look it up. I think the bundle's like $9,000 US or something like that. Yeah. It's $10,000 US. So the 3 cameras themselves though are $3,000 each. So for basically $369, right? So basically for $1,000 you get a pro keyboard, not the FlyJoy, which is their entry level, but their pro PTZ keyboard. And so it's a good deal, man. There are also our keyboard deals, like the four P400s, which are 4K cameras, or P4Ks. Sorry, 3 P400 or 3 P4Ks come with a keyboard, basically free keyboard. And you can do the P240 bundle is cheaper with our keyboard. It's only $9,000. So you basically get a free keyboard with that one. But yeah, I mean, we're not clueless that people really like the Scarhoy product, and so I think that that's part of it. Is we don't need to be reinventing the wheel necessarily. We can just have friends in the industry and sell everybody's products. Sell ours too. It's not like and we're not really in direct competition either. Like they do control exclusively, and they do it great, by the way. It's a great product. So all the power to the marketing guys. I think it's a right move. Hey, don't forget that ridiculously good warranty coverage. I had a bad 4212PX, and they sent me a new one before I shipped the defective one back. Wow, that's impressive. I know that right at pandemic, they ran out of stock, like we all did. They couldn't keep them on the shelves, and so it's a good problem to have. Thankfully, the immediate RMA stuff only happens if there's stock in the channel. So good stuff. It wasn't Richard. It was the guy over in Paris, and his name eludes me. It's not Levent, is it? LinkedIn. Search LinkedIn for... Oh, what's that? Okay. Netgear. I don't think it's Levent. It's Laurent? Laurent. Is it Laurent? Oh, man. This is shameful that I don't have. Yes, Laurent. He is Senior Director of Product Line Management for Managed Switches at Netgear. I had him look over a system that I was doing for NAB, and he made a couple of minor changes, but gave it the overall blessing and was like, yes, this is, for what you're doing, this is probably the appropriate design. And I just had him do some tweaks, and then I talked to him about his theory and process. It was really good. It was a good chat. So with a Technicom Media, with a single NIC on the workstation, is it possible to configure NDI to use a specific VLAN? This has been challenging for us. This has been challenging for us as it seems that there is no configuration in the NDI tools to specify a VLAN. Okay, so you only have one network connection on your computer. You're going to be limited to the way that works. I strongly recommend finding a PCIe card that has multiple network connections. They're less than $100. Okay, you need 1 gig ports. Buy a brand name. Okay, you can even get them on Amazon if you're here in the U.S., but I don't think you are. But network, and if you're gonna buy a new network card, then go ahead and get a fiber card. But anyways, I digress. But for workstations that are straddling networks, you're doing data on one and you're doing NDI on another, I really recommend that you have a dual NIC, because what that will do is give you the ability to have one on one VLAN and one on another. And the brand name ones, and I don't mind saying what I'm using, by the way, I think it's like a TrendNet or something, which isn't top of the line, but it is good enough. But for like $100, you can buy like a really nice dual gigabit network card that's PCIe and will do what you need it to do. The thing to remember is that this card, actually, now that I think about it, if you have an open PCIe Express, now I'm like totally hypothetical here. If you have an open if you have an open PCIe slot on your computer, leave the one network connection that you have on the data side and add a dual in that PCIe and plug both of those into your NDI VLAN. That gives you 2 gigs. You can bond them if you want, if you buy a brand name, but you can bond them if you want, or just leave them independent, and NDI will load balance. It's built into the SDK, so NDI will load balance on its own. That's the way to really do it, because then you have 2 gigs throughput. Remember, 1 gig cards are really performance based, anywhere from 400 to 600 megs. It is not 1 gig all the time. That's peak performance. Okay, max performance, rarely. That's the way you think about it in network stuff. And same thing goes for your switches, everybody. Your switches are 1 gig ports, and so on. The marketing, they say, it's a 24 port switch. You get 24 gig throughput. Stop. If you ran 1 gig solid through 24 ports for any amount of time, that thing would be on fire. That is not what they mean. They mean peak performance. What they're hoping you want is 100, 200, 300 megs at any given time through the port. They don't test them at 1 gig full on for weeks on end. They plug in 24 computers, and yes, they all talk together. That's what they mean. So before you go crazy and say, oh, I have 24 gig backbone. No, you don't. Not on performance. The silicone's not going to handle that much. What you have is the potential to go up to 1 gig per port, but you can't run it at that at full throttle. So what I would recommend here, Technicom Media, is that if you have the option to have an extra PCIe open, I would buy a halfway decent dual network card at 1 gig each and plug both of those into your VLAN and plug that one single port into your data. Then you can put both of those ports on the same VLAN from that new dual card, and you get 2 gigs onto your NDI network, and then you get 1 gig out to your streaming service. So in this instance, I'm using like 50 megs to go to YouTube and to go to Twitch and to go to Facebook. Okay, ideal. That's ideal. Now, if you are limited to just a single network connection on a workstation, and you're trying to do your video switching and everything through that, you're going to be limited to having either the data network or the internet connected to your NDI network, or all of this operating on the same data network that everything else is operating on. So you're outside of some of the recommendations doing that, because we want to isolate as best we can. But if you only have a single network connection workstation, like you've stated here, it is possible to configure NDI on its own VLAN, okay? But when it comes to the NDI tools, they have not yet figured out how to tell the computer to only operate NDI on a specific VLAN that you have. All right? So inside, now, I know, guys, you're going to jump at me and say, but in Access Manager, there's a preferred network card. It does nothing. I have never seen that work, where you say, I prefer you to operate only NDI stuff on this network connection. Sorry. Do that. Click on that, hit OK in Access Manager, select your network connection, hit OK, and then open test patterns and see where it shows up. It will show up on all your network connections. So it doesn't work quite the way that works. But Is the Scarhead controller the blue pill or the Unisketch version? You know what? I don't know that detail. I would love to tell you, NetHab. I'll have to find out for you. I've seen his videos. That's Laurent. Yes, and he's great. Really sharp guy and willing to take a question. So always, I wish he'd do a live show because that would be really fun. But I like that attitude. Just talking about the Scarhoy stuff. It is good to make sure that companies integrate with each other. Absolutely. And who does that benefit the most? I mean, it's great for business, but the customer wins when you're all talking the same language and same network and same integration and everything. You guys win. Like, that's a good deal for you. So when people are like, "Oh, I don't like that companies are talking," it's like, why? You should be ecstatic that everybody's shaking hands and saying, "Yes, we should all do business together and adhere to each other's protocols and like talk with each other and make sure this works correctly." That is a win for you. I mean, it's work for us, but it's a win for you, and definitely take care of that. It's always best to separate. It's always best for NDI to be on a separate network connection from anything else. Agreed. I've seen Access Manager break stuff really badly when doing that. Yes, Access Manager is a good product, but I have yet to see the preferred network connection thing work. It just doesn't. It doesn't isolate. So it seems to work for inbound NDI with a specified VLAN, but not outbound. Yes, I think that's an accurate statement. Correct. I do think it works well for inbound, but then again, like, I have no issue with it on inbound. Like, I have no issue. I don't, it doesn't seem to matter. It's the outbound that matters. And we're guilty of this too, by the way. We haven't figured out how to, like in Central, for example, if you have multiple networks coming to the same machine and you fire up Central, it will accept all, but it will also spit them out. And there's no way to specify what IP address to spit it out on. We're working on it, but we just haven't been able to figure that out yet. And fair enough. I mean, that's on us. So we're working on it, guys. We're working on it. Oh yeah, is this? I forget which overlay I've got here. Okay, not that one. Overlay 2 is nothing. Okay, never mind. All right, still figuring out vmix, everybody, and that is the mark of a guy that's not stuck in his ways, I guess. Pat myself on the back here a little bit is, if you think you've arrived, then you are done. You need to retire. You should always be learning, and I definitely feel that way about vmix, as I am constantly learning how things work or why they're not working or all that stuff. So good times. Keep learning, everybody. It's important. It's important stuff. Hey, and if you're just joining us, welcome to the show. This is indeed birddogjon.tv. It's the New Year's show, so good times here at birddogjon.tv. I will not be here on Thursday. We will not have a show on Thursday. The reason why I've come in before the office is even open is for you guys. No, because I wanted the New Year's show to be close to New Year's, and today is the 2nd here in January. Beautiful Michigan, chilly day. I forget what's the temperature outside. Let's take a look. It's 31 degrees. It's only going up to 35. There's a very cold, stiff wind blowing through Auburn Hills, and it was a chilly ride in today. So I am looking forward to next week for sure. We're going to do a couple of shows, but on Thursday I'm not going to be here because I'll be at a conference, which I won't say performing, but I'm participating on stage. So I'm not behind a camera. I'm not at a booth. I'm not doing tech stuff. I'm actually on stage next week, or this weekend. So I will fly down to Florida tomorrow. Whoa. I need to pack. We'll fly down to Florida tomorrow, and then hopefully everything makes it. I have to check some stuff. So hopefully everything makes it, and then I will be down there and coming back on Sunday. So I will be in the office on Monday, and then the show's Tuesday, Thursday. So that is the plan here this week. I really like this view. This P100 is crooked, so I need to fix that, which isn't hard to do. We can open up Studio Monitor real quick, select the P100 that's on the ceiling, and just turn it sideways just a wee bit. There we go. That's a little better. It's just that little bit that was got me all off. Well, thanks for jumping in the chat today, everybody. This is pretty good stuff. Hey, we're down in Fort Lauderdale. I won't be that close. I'll be over on the Gulf Coast. Actually, technically, we'll be in Alabama, but we have to fly into Pensacola, so we will see how that goes. And oh yeah, I just need to make this connection here. So yes, we will be down in. We'll fly into Pensacola, and then we'll have to drive over. I think it's called Orange Beach, I believe. Let's go over to the Google. Okay, she didn't listen that time. I have an actual Google listening device here in the office. I refer to them now as listening devices because... Okay, this place is in Gulf Shores, actually. It's near Orange Beach. So let's cut over there. So here is the convention center we will be at this week, the Orange Beach Event Center. Okay, so it is in Orange Beach? I'm so confused. But this is Gulf Shores down here. Orange Beach is here. And then we're staying in a place over here in Perdido Keys. So we'll have a little like 20-minute drive to our place during the conference. But there isn't really like a great hotel place here. I tried to fly into Gulf Shores International Airport at Jack Edwards Field, but there are no flights going into there. So, because I could probably walk to the event center from there. So instead, we got to fly into Pensacola, which is, where is it here? It's over here. Over here? Pensacola, Florida. There's Mobile, Alabama. This is where we used to be, but the event had moved. Okay, so here, Pensacola Beach is here. Pensacola is here. There's the airport. So we'll fly into Pensacola, and then we'll drive on down to our home where we're staying for a few hours, and then we'll go over to the event space later in the day. So that's where I'll be on Wednesday. I hope I make it. I'm healthy, and my wife's going. She's healthy, so good times. Pretty excited. And my kids are going to get some quality time with their aunt and her daughter, my niece. So we're excited and grateful all at the same time. So that's where we'll be. And that's where I will be on Thursday. That's why we do not have a show. So it's mid-70s throughout the week. Oh, that's a nice way to ring in the new year. Let's my wife has been keeping an eye on the weather in, well, let's actually look up Orange Beach, Alabama. She's been keeping an eye on it for us. I think it's going to be chilly. Or Orange Beach in Alabama? Yeah. Okay, Orange Beach in Alabama. Currently 48 degrees. That's winter here in Michigan. Turning into winter. But we'll take a look at the 10-day. It'll be kind of accurate. Whoa, a little bit of rain. So rain tomorrow up to 52. Thursday, 58 and sunny. That's good. I think that's the first day of the conference. 63 on Friday and 59 on Saturday. And then our travel day is 62, so we won't get to enjoy that. So, almost 60 degrees. I'll take that. It's on the beach. It might be a little windy, but and potentially a little rainy. But Saturday is our last day. It'll be sunny. Thursday it'll be sunny. And then Friday, Friday's actually going to be really busy at the conference. We're going to be inside most of that day. So, and it only says PM showers. Oh, well, that's no big deal. So it's going to be mostly sunny during that day and up to 63. So the weather's shaping up. I'm pretty excited about it. That'll be great. All good, all good. Okay, folks. Well, we're approaching the 12 o'clock hour. And,
5 minutes remaining.
In the hour. It doesn't necessarily mean that I am going to sign off, but I've never really gotten to use that sound effect. So there you go. Finally got to use it. Thanks, Master Chief. Good stuff. Don't get me banned. Well, anyways, it's nice to be back. There's no activity in the office. We haven't even probably looked at the desk. I should probably do that, see if what the chaos is going to look like for the team tomorrow. I will be available for them to contact during the week, so that will play. You know, I won't be completely like out of the country or something like that, but we will continue on. There's a chunk of work to be done. That is for sure. Stuff that's come in, and then backlog tickets and stuff that have come in. But I mean, we've been closed for a week and a half, so it's to be expected. To be expected. A lot of these items have not been resolved. I'm just looking for anything that might be outstanding here. Many of these are like repeat items. We can like merge stuff. I know it's riveting. But go ahead and put your, if you have any questions, I know that like not a lot of people do, but if you have any questions, feel free to submit those in the chat. These are all the same. I'm just going to merge. Submit those in the chat. I'm happy to take those. If you want to ask a question, join us over at birddogjon.tv. Subscribe for 5 minutes. And then after your question's done, you can unsubscribe if you want. I don't mind. But there's a good resource over there at birddogjon.tv. There's a lot of videos and stuff that I've done that you are welcome to check out. And, you know, maybe it'll be useful while you work through your NDI installation. Feel free to also ask questions. I do see all the comments on all those videos. So if you have a question and I didn't answer it correctly in the video, or things have changed, or it's irrelevant, or whatever, we definitely go ahead, ask a question in the comments, or throw it in here in the live chat. Happy to have you along for the ride, everybody. But I definitely see those comments, and try to respond to the ones that are questions. So feel free to reach out to us over on that channel as well. Good stuff. I don't even have like a snack to eat today. I didn't bring it. We did some pretty crazy stuff last week. I actually made chicken wings and did hot sauce, and yeah, that was a lot of good. It was a lot of good. Tasted good. Let me go to my videos over on the YouTube page and see. So the recent videos I've done here are unmanaged and smart managed network devices, and why I really don't recommend them. A NDI network subnet conversation, because we really need to talk about subnets and get that out there. That one wasn't very popular. But there is a complete user guide for the P240, and there is a complete user guide for the P200 that's posted there. Those ones have a fair bit of traction since they went live late December. And I did a overview on Stream Deck and Companion and how to use that remotely through an emulator. That one has gotten some good traction as well. So not a lot of comments, but a fair number of likes. And I don't like that they hide all the dislike stuff, because I would also like to see that. Maybe there's no dislikes. Who knows? But yeah, the channel is slowly growing, and it doesn't mean I'm popular. It means I'm requiring you to subscribe so that you can talk to me on the chat. Good stuff. Good stuff. All right. So I should also take a quick look. I'm in the desk. Yoink. If you have a ticket that you've submitted, there are a lot of open tickets in here, but again, we've been closed for a week, so that is to be expected, you know. Technicom Media says, hey, I love your lighting. Well, thank you. We are building a green screen 16 feet by 10 feet. Any recommendations on lighting the screen effectively? Soft, even lighting, right? So It depends on a lot of like how you're hanging it. If so, this is not a green screen. This is actually just green lighting. You can see because of the shadows. You can tell by the way that it is.
How neat is that?
But mine is just lighting, is all it is. And I can actually do green screen stuff, which I've always felt is a little bit silly because people know, all right, you know full well that I'm not here, okay? There's a video associated with that, so it plays the audio for the video. I could mute that, I guess. Let's see. Where's the We Are BirdDog video? All right. Here it is. All right, I'll just mute these ones. Okay, so you are well aware that I'm not here. although it's cool. And look, Detroit's in the background, right? Like, okay, I understand that it might be like a cool effect, but I've just always felt like it's a little bit strange. Like you don't need to. I'm just gonna stop the video because it's messing with my timing. But it just, I've never seen this green screen where I'm like, wow, that looks real. Like, or maybe I've been deceived and I don't know what I know. But I just always think that this is so weird. It's just so strange that people would use this. Maybe I'm too big, right? Like maybe I look too big and I think I'm sitting too close to the table is what it looks like to me. But I've never been an enormous fan of green screens just because I don't find them to be super realistic. But that's not to say you shouldn't do it. However, this lighting does allow me to do that. So all I do is I have an input in vmix that basically does a chroma key and with my P200, and it just eliminates that green. And it works pretty well. But I light my stuff. This is actually a gray wall. So if I turn the lights off, I could turn the green lights off, I guess, but it's just a gray wall. And then I have a green light that turns it to kind of like a light green, but the actual green itself is kind of harsh. You can actually see it on my glasses, the actual color that the green is. But I just light mine with green lights. And I have 2 lights at the bottom. And if I really wanted to do it right, I'd put another one at the top. And that is sufficient. The key with it is to provide separation so that you can put lights behind your talent. I find that if your talent is up against the wall, right? If you're right up against the wall, it's going to be super hard to avoid shadows. So there's a fair bit of distance between me and this wall, and then the lights are in behind them. It's almost an arm's length, and quite frankly, I would like more. I'd like to move my desk that way and light the background correctly and then light the subject correctly. Now, I've got good lighting for the subject. I've got a hair light that's up above me here. I've got a Falcon Eyes, a small one, but a Falcon Eyes is my key, and my fill is the softbox. And so that works really well for lighting me correctly. I should also turn off. I just realized that my office lights are on, and that's also screwing with my lighting. Give me 1 second. I'll be right back. Oh, I'm sorry. So that helps for sure with like the blacks and the depth of my hat because it's not throwing additional light. I should just pull those lights out of that thing so I can leave them on. But this is my normal coloration for the show. And I think, sometimes I don't wear a hat and that helps, but my MO is black sweater, black hat. So there you go. So lighting a green screen, just space. You need some space. You need soft, even lighting. And you can do that in numerous ways. It depends on the shot, honestly. But yeah, there's a lot of different ways to skin that cat. Virtual sets can be fun when the production really leans into it. Wild and outlandish. I agree that that is true to form. Yes, and I was muted. Sorry about that, folks. Anyway, whatevs. I'll never get it right. I don't think that that'll ever be I'll ever remember to do that correctly. Yeah, your scale versus the table is definitely off. I don't know what you mean. I didn't look natural sitting there. Yes, we'll be looking at virtual sets. And NetHab says, it sounds like you need LED volume. You need an LED volume. That one that phrase I'm not familiar with. Forgive me. Thank you, Angus. Yes, I was muted. Good times, good times. All right. So, yeah, I'm using light and my main 200. This is the 110, so obviously I wouldn't use this as my set light, but I would like more separation because then it would take the green off of my face, and the green screen stuff the chroma key does kind of mess with my face. So I would like to move further away from the color, and then that would help immensely. Now, a green screen, an actual sheet or an actual wall that you're doing would probably be better because you're not going to get this residual color. But if you're doing it for the cheap, yeah, these lights are less than $50. And I can control them with my phone, which is great. So it's good stuff. Pretty even, right? Like there's some shadows over here. But that's likely the position of the light because it's turned in. So we could come back a bit. Whoops. Come back a bit. There. And that's a lot more even, I think. It's a little different green, actually. Wild. Yes, physical devices showing your output volume levels. Oh, I see. Yeah, yeah, that would be great, actually. I agree with you. Could I do that inside Stream Deck? I think I could. There's got to be an option now, right? Come on. I know vmix has a module for Stream Deck. Do they not? Do they not? Soundboard, no. Stream Deck system. Nothing there. Control center. There's got to be a keyboard for this. Let's head over to the store and see what they have for plugins. vmix. vmix does have a plugin. Let's go to audio and controller meter, audio meters. Show the levels of your playback and recording devices. Okay, install. Giggity goo. All right. Let's see if this makes any difference. I do not like the icon for this thing. If we were to copy this and go to page, put it here, put good news down on page 3, and then delete this one. I guess I could show you guys what I'm up to, right? So this is the Stream Deck that I have with all of the sound effects and stuff that I use. And it's really helpful.
Hello, IT. Have you tried turning it off and on again?
Because it's really simple. However, it's not updating currently my current one. Okay, so I have audio bars. And I want a playback device. I want this to be, what is this? Input 1? Yes, input 1. Hello. And I'm going to change this level because right now this should be like, mid should be like 50, I think. So let's see if that goes up anymore. It's still listed as low. And this should be 75. Maybe not. Maybe this should be like 35 because, come on. 35? Bueller. What's going on here? Okay. And then it's not communicating with this device for some reason. I kind of like that though. Like if it would actually show up on my Stream Deck title. Oh, did my keyboard just die? My keyboard just died. That's why it ain't working. Or did I change devices by Bueller? Oh boy. I think my keyboard just died. Fun times, everybody. What are the chances? Pretty high, actually. I had a USB-C up here. I mean, it's been sitting here idle for several days, so... No, my keyboard's not dead. It's just not connecting to... Oh. It's just not connecting to my... Weird. One moment, please, everybody. While I sort the... Windows... I hate Windows 10. Or 11, sorry. Not Windows 10. I love Windows 10. I'm still getting used to it. Let's put it that way. I think, actually, my... keyboard just like disconnected. I can't remember. Hey-oh. It says there. It's connected. Wow, that was wild. Mic level? Oh, too long, huh? Mic whoops. Mic level? Mic level. Ooh, look at that. Okay, so are you guys still following along over here? Okay, you are. So this is nice. Why my Stream Deck has not updated, I don't know. But it's kind of a nice little visual representation. I think I want this to be like 35. What is going on here? Oh, now it really doesn't like it. Okay, so that was not the right. So why 75? Why not fit? It really wants me to leave this at 75. Show level as text on key. Visual background gradient flipped. All right, now it's frozen and now it's not doing anything. Oh, because it dropped the... Uh-oh. Am I still... You guys can still hear me here, right? I mean, this is a cool little... Yeah, all right. This is a cool little visualization of what's going on. Max threshold. Maybe I'll just change this to... Oh my gosh. 700. It does not like you to change... 14, 74, 75. Okay, cool. And now it's disconnected from the playback device. Well, so that's not good. If this thing keeps dropping all the time, this is not going to work. It's almost like if I change the level to an extreme. Oh, for crying out loud. Now it's not even listed. Or maybe it is. I just have a few. All right, 1 through 4. Okay, that's not it. Input 1. There we go. All right, that's what I want. Hey-oh. All right, that's cool. Now let's... Oh, this is the copy. That's why. Okay, so let's copy this. Go down to page... Oh, geez, that's not the one either. Which one am I using? Default profile? No. There. More cowbell. Here. Paste. Yeah. Found it. All right, so let's go ahead and delete this one. Audio meter. Device. Might explain why I was having so much issues with it. And we'll just say mic 1, because that's what this is. Max threshold, I want it to be 75. Playback device, again, it keeps dropping it. Why is that? Is it dropping audio on... Is it dropping audio on the stream when I'm monkeying with this? Because it shouldn't be. But it definitely does not keep it. I'm watching it now on my Stream Deck too, which is really cool. It definitely shows. So then here, I want this to be 75. And I want this to be 45. All right. Now let's have a go. Oh, yeah, there it is. Okay, that looks good. All right, let me switch now to my overhead, and maybe you guys can, for those of you playing at home, yoink this one. So now when I talk on my Stream Deck, it gives me a visualized output. That's pretty cool.
How neat is that?
That is pretty neat. That is for sure. All right, cool. Well, there's a good suggestion. See, you guys making the show better all the time. All the time. Let me see what you guys are saying here. Don't you want it to be coming out of the output of vmix? Yeah, that's a good idea. I mean, most of the time the problem is my microphone is muted, right? That's usually what the issue is. But we could change that, I guess. So if we say, well, then again, the output is not, I'm just sending it out the stream. It needs to be like the master output. So in that instance, it would be, no, you know what? The issue is this microphone being muted, my mic source being muted. That's really what the problem is with me being muted. It's not even you guys can't hear anything because the sound effects usually work, right?
That's pretty neat.
But they don't. It's the microphone when I come back and I start talking. And the only other thing I wish it would show is... Ooh, and you can change the colors. That's cool. The only thing I wish it would show is when there's no audio, like the whole thing would flash or something, right? So you don't even have to put in a text. Like you can just take this out and just have it as my microphone. And it's nice that it just shows it right here on the main screen. It's a little delayed. It's not super smooth, but what can you expect for a free, for a free app? I didn't pay a single dime for it. So there you go. I kind of like, I could just do this maybe. Whoops. There. And just leave it at that. Then I know. I'm not too sure why the lettering is yellow. Is that in here? Can I change that here? Yeah, okay. So let's do something maybe like BirdDog green. There we go. That's a little more palatable. We'll go with that. All right. Well, there, good stuff. I'm up and running here, and as you guys can see here on the screen, maybe not super great, but as you can see, it is giving me a live feedback. More now the piece will be if I was using the no audio meter from Zen Video, that also probably would have fixed my wagon, but alas, I'm not using it again today for some reason. So there you go. Is the mute not happening in vmix? The mute is yoink. The mute is happening in vmix, although I'm muting it on my I'm muting it. Whoops, wrong one. Is it this one? Yeah. So I'm muting it here, which is muting my microphone input. So when I press this button, you can't hear anything when I press that button. But what it's doing is it's muting channel input 4 in vmix out of the main. So it's pulling it out, or no, it's turning off. What is this little button? The one with the speaker, which is basically the pass through to the main. But it mutes it, turns those bars blue, and that's that. So it's just specific for my microphone to mute me, so that if I got a cough or something, I just hit that button. Is your main vmix window visible? It's a really good no audio warning mode built right into vmix, but your audio meter was still showing level when you were muted. Oh. Yes, it is showing. Well done. Good spot. So yeah, so then yeah, it needs to be the output, I guess. Now, oh, you know what? Check. Okay, so that does not do anything now, because I am outputting, what is it, 1 through 4 maybe? I'm outputting on the back of the Behringer. And so it should, because I was using that as my monitor mix at one point. Oh, but you know what? My microphone doesn't go through there. And so if I put it in my ears, and this is very confusing. No, it's still not there. Okay. All right, one moment, please. We can figure this out. Now, I am using webcam 1 as an audio. No, I'm not. Not anymore, I guess. I was, but now I'm just strictly using the stream outputs for my show, which means that I'm not generating an external and I'm not generating any NDI outputs or anything in vmix, which, by the way, is reducing my CPU load substantially. But I also need to... Yeah, none of these will work in this instance then. Shoot. Because it doesn't playback device output 1 through 2. It should be actually outputting it there, but it's not. Interesting. You need VB cable. I have VB cable, but it's being used for something else. Therefore, your meters needs to be listening to the output of vmix, not the direct input of the microphone. But I'm not outputting it anyway. Interesting. Speakers, no. And then the Behringers. Yeah, see, VB cable. That's being used for my sound effect board.
Excellent.
So any sound effects that happen on my computer go through VB cable and get inputted as an actual audio source instead of using the other like native drivers. VB cable works great, but it is, I guess I could use cable out, right? Let me think about this, because I don't want to obviously kill the audio to the show. If I play a sound effect, though.
Excellent.
Yeah, okay, so it shows up here as the mic source. If I say input.
Resistance
Yeah,
is futile.
that shows up as well. So, yeah, bummer. Yeah, because this, when I muted, yep, it still shows. So it's almost like I need the input in vmix to appear there. Huh. That's a very interesting problem. It would be nice to have this visualization, but it is kind of redundant. If I check 1, 2, it muted it. Whoa. If I press this button, it mutes that channel. Oh, interesting. Wow. It definitely muted that channel. So maybe that's the mic mute button now? Interesting. I didn't realize that it had that sort of power. What is show level as text on key? So if I remove the text from here, oh, that's funny. It gives a readout. That's not, that doesn't make any sense. I don't know about that. I don't know sometimes. Text gradient. Oh, that looks nicer. It's a little more like less harsh. Oh, that's cool. Huh. But now I have 2 mute buttons. If I'm listening to it here in the earphones and then I mute it, yeah, it definitely mutes it in my ear as well. So it's muting the actual input. It's not muting it in vmix. vmix stays open, which means that if I'm going to use this as my source or as my way of muting, which is fine, then I don't need that on the X keys anymore. I actually don't hate that. I thought I wouldn't like it, but I don't hate that. It's interesting. Huh. Fascinating. What an interesting discovery. Because that would then make sense if I'm muted. Although it doesn't really... Well, it does. It puts a little picture up and shows that the channel is muted. But then I wouldn't have to do anything inside of vmix to mute it. So, interesting. Well, constantly getting better, folks. Learning new things, trying new things. That's what we're all about over here. And you really shouldn't be afraid to try stuff, because if you are in the industry and trying to be better and trying to make it better, it's all about moving incrementally in a positive direction. So you try something, you find out that works great, or you find out it doesn't work great, and you move forward from there. So don't get too married to the way that you do things. This is a good example. Is like, well, I have a mute button. I have a mute button that's on my X keys, but this mute button and gives me a visual representation that the microphone is muted. So it's not super eye-catchy. I wish it would flash red or something. You know, that would be really helpful. And on this website, actually, for this, it says submit your feedback to Bar Raider. So we're going to open up this. Yeah, audio meter shows it. Wow, there's some interesting... They have some interesting options here for on their little website. But they said they'd take feedback, and it would be great if the unit, if there was an option to say flash when muted. So then it grabs your attention on your Stream Deck that, you know, you need to unmute. But anyways, keep getting better, guys. I mean, that's what it's all about, right? We need to keep trying to do that. So hopefully you feel encouraged that, hey, we're all learning. It's okay. It takes time. It takes time to sort it out, and the goal is to make the next stream better than the previous. So that is what we're trying to do around here. And I do need to reiterate, and we will shut things down here because I'm coming up on another meeting that I need to attend. But I won't be online on Thursday. And I know I've missed a couple. So it was a holiday. But I won't be on Thursday. That's why we did today's show. The office is closed today. There are lots of open tickets. Give my team about a week to get through everything and to get back to the quick responses. But they've been on vacation. They're having their own times with their families, celebrating the holidays. And so they will be back. They'll be taking on more tickets and questions as time goes along, but give them some time to kind of recover from the flood that's come in over the break. And then we will definitely be back on next Tuesday to answer your questions. And I think I'm going to try and do a P400 overview. And so we've been doing those incrementally and trying to spend some time doing that. But the next Thursday, I will be away. I'll be in Florida. And then the next week, Tuesday, Thursday, will be 2 more shows. So feel free to join us for those shows. Going to be fun. And so try and make some time to hang out with us. It will be well worth your time. In the meantime, though, as always, take care of yourselves. It's important. It's a brand new year. Set yourself some goals. It'll be well worth it. Trust me, the time will pass. And you will make it to that time, more than likely. But how you use that time and what goals you set will be completely up to you. And so be sure that you spend some time thinking about that. Maybe not New Year's resolution, but what do you want to do this year, eh? And if you can set those goals and have those front of mind, then you can break those apart into actual, tangible, achievable goals and work your way towards that. So take care of yourselves. That should be number one. Take care of yourselves. Look after all those little things that stress you and get those out of the way so you can have a productive new year. But also take care of those around you, because there's not really a whole lot of that going on or promoted. And so that's what we do here on the show. Take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and that will pay off in droves in the future. But until then, and until next Tuesday, take care of yourselves and each other, and we will see you all in the next show right here, birddogjon.tv. Always a fun time. Look forward to having you back on. Bring your questions, bring your cares and concerns, and all your friends and family, and we'll have a good one next Tuesday. Take care, guys. We'll see you in a week. Bye. Oh, I muted that video, didn't I? So, take care, guys. Still muted. So, apparently, it was going to be a graceful sign-off, but it really wasn't. So, hey, everybody. Take care of yourselves.
That's a problem for future Homer. Man, I don't envy that guy.
Everything's coming up Millhouse.